And then after that, I just chilled out and fraternized with people inside the Staples Center. There was no game. I don't care about some comeback. The Lakers were down 29 points in the first half, in the second quarter. This guy hit his first 6 3-pointers. He had 22 points or so in the first quarter. He just dominated them. He just put them to sleep long before. And not only that, the second you saw, the first play of the game, you saw Anthony Davis grimacing in pain. Now, Frank Vogel was evidently the last to see Anthony Davis grimacing because we all saw it from opening tip. He had no business out there whatsoever. He was actually in the game for the five plus minutes that he played. He was actually in the game too long. Shouldn't have been in there for 1 minute. But in the end, Devin Booker and those boys, they saw that. They exploited him. They attacked him early at every turn. And Devin Booker was just hot because he's a young superstar in this league. And he just put the Lakers to bed. And he sent LeBron James home in the first round for the first time in his career.
The play when Davis left the game was a play when he was trying to cover Booker. Booker just took off to the hole.
Because they saw him.
Right, exactly.
And that wasn't just Booker, it was CP3 as well, saying, look who's on you, look who's on you. And they were going to attack Anthony Davis because they saw immediately that Anthony Davis had no business out there.
Okay, so now let's just get into the psychology of this whole thing. First of all, for Davis, do you feel like he felt pressure to play because of all the talk about him being called street clothes and Snoop with the tweet and everything?
Yeah, and me. I'm not gonna claim innocence in all of this. Listen, if you talk to people in the league, here's what they were saying. Nobody on earth was questioning the legitimacy of his injury. But you did have people looking at him wondering, how much did you commit yourself to taking care of yourself in the offseason and during the season? Do you stretch every day? Are you in the weight room? Are you putting in that work like LeBron James puts in to make sure yourself is in peak health condition? These are the kind of question marks that you create when you find yourself perpetually injured the way Anthony Davis was. So Snoop Dogg going at him because he was disgusted with how soft the Lakers have looked collectively. You see what he said on Instagram and other places. Charles Barkley, street clothes. That's what he called Anthony Davis. Anthony Street Clothes Davis. And then, of course, I went on First Take and I'm like, listen, all of this noise that they're making is because people in the league are making this noise about you. So as a result, when you look at that and you know that LeBron James is going to be out there by himself, it's like, what you going to do? So I certainly asked that question, and I definitely think that contributed to the level of pressure that he felt. All I'm saying is the second you tried to go out there, and the minute you saw that he was injured, you yank him. Okay. And that's the deal.
So then let's get into what that does to the Lakers. When they have him out there, they're hopeful that he can go. And then very early in the game, when they're already down, they realize we're not going to have him. That seems like that's a real big blow to their psyche.
Well, it was a real big blow to their psyche, but you got to point to Frank Vogel. How prepared was this team? Andre Drummond, you're using him one game, another game you're not using him. Montrezl Harrell, the reigning sixth man of the year.
Haven't seen a lot of him.
Not the reigning sixth man of the year, but the sixth man of the year last season before Jordan Clarkson got it this year. This is a guy that was averaging 6 minutes a game. How do you do that? Everybody knows he's an Energizer Bunny. He's going to rebound. He's going to put up some buckets as well. He's going to bang. He's going to do those things. You got to find a way to utilize him. You slow the ball up because they're obviously younger. They've got some thoroughbreds on Phoenix. On top of it all, they've got some athleticism. They've got a star in Booker, a big man in DeAndre Ayton that showed you from game one. He wasn't playing games. He was walking around averaging 20 and 10 at least the first 2 games of this series. You know that you've got that stuff going up against you. So if you're the Lakers, you're older. You're slower, but bigger. And how did you win games 2 and 3? Because you played big. So guess what? You understand this, and that's the strategy that you try to implement and utilize throughout the series. You've got to anticipate this coming into the playoffs when the game slows and defenses get back on defense and force you into becoming a half-court team, especially when you ain't that great of a fast-break team to begin with. Frank Vogel should have had them better prepared for a matchup like this, and as far as I'm concerned, he was relying on LeBron and Anthony Davis to take him there, wasn't thinking about anything else, and they got exposed, and that's why they lost this series.
Phoenix still a young team, but Monty Williams has done a great job coaching them, and they got veteran presence in Chris Paul. 12 assists in this game. He led even with the hurt shoulder. How much of a threat is Phoenix in the West now?
They're a legitimate threat. When you have floor generalship and leadership like a CP3, you've got a star in Devin Booker who can finish, who can close. Damn it, he can open. You've got a coach in Monty Williams and his staff that have proven they know what they're doing. And you got some young lions that ain't scared of anything. Even a Cameron Jordan, obviously a Cameron Payne. You look at those guys and what they bring to the table, along with a DeAndre Ayton, along with a Bridges and others. They've got guys that could be a formidable threat. Now you're gonna go up against Jokic next,
right?
And we're gonna see what Ayton is made of, because that ain't Andre Drummond, that ain't Marc Gasol, okay? That ain't Montrezl Harrell. This is the guy that's gonna win league MVP. I know he got my vote this year. Jokic is no joke. Michael Porter's putting on a show, and they've got some nice pieces in Denver. They've got size, athleticism, perimeter shooting, all of that stuff that they've got. But if you are the Phoenix Suns, you can run with anybody. You've got similar athleticism. You may not have the size, but you have everything else to make it a very compelling series. I think Phoenix got a chance.
All right, the story tonight, though, is the Suns getting past the Lakers, moving on to the second round of the NBA playoffs in Game 6. Stephen A., great having you here.
Thank you.
Devin Booker, 47 points, second most to knock out a reigning champ in NBA history. The only player with more, Bob Pettit, dropped 50 for the St. Louis Hawks against the Celtics. In the 1958 NBA Finals, LeBron James loses a playoff game wire to wire for just the third time in his career, and Booker was very responsible. All right, let's bring in Tim Legler. Tim, we can bury the Lakers or we can praise the Suns. In this case, let's praise our son, Devin Booker.
Yeah, let's do it. And look, this game got a little bit tighter than Monty Williams would have liked in the second half. But the truth is, the game was over from middle of the first quarter to the middle of the second quarter. That's when they got away from him. And take a look at exactly how. Now, at this point, Devin Booker's already cooking. And this is one of their pet sets. They run in this set, come down, a little ball reversal. And what they're counting on right here is Montrezl Harrell is up. So he has no vision. He has no idea what's coming behind him because he's so locked in on the basketball. Now, you're going to go ahead and get it clear out here by Payne. Take this defender with you. Now, what I want you to focus on is Devin Booker under the rim with Wes Matthews. He's going to get separation by getting a little bump, and he's going to come up for this dribble handoff. There's the bump, there's the separation. Now, if you're Wes Matthews and you've already seen Devin Booker heating up, you cannot allow 6-8 feet of separation as Booker is coming for this dribble handoff, because there is just no possible way you can get there in time to contest it. So here it is, one more time. Now it's 33-12 game. Defensively also contributing to how this lead got away from the Lakers, the way they were playing LeBron James. And you're going to see the ultimate wall. You know that's what it's going to take against LeBron. But take a look as he penetrates. You've got 5 bodies in the lane. And basically what the Phoenix Suns are saying, we do not respect your perimeter shooting. So even when LeBron drops this off to Montrezl Harrell, who makes a kick out pass to the corner, you rarely are going to see 5 defenders this deep in the lane. Yet that's where the Phoenix Suns are. And they are daring this last pass to be made. It is. Tucker misses the shot. When you go for the long rebound like Morris does and you miss it, you're now susceptible to transition. That's what happens. And take a look at Chris Paul. So smart. If he gives it up early here, plenty of time to match up. You're going to be able to take away a transition basket. What you are taught, take the basketball into the gut of the defense, engage this defender, and now free up your shooter on the wing. It's a textbook 3-on-2 transition drill. Kick out to Cam Johnson, knocks it down to 27-point lead. The Phoenix Suns came out, and when your best player is that sharp early, everybody's going to settle down and relax because you know your offense is going to be flowing. Then it became a matter of how do we defend LeBron and make sure he doesn't have a vintage LeBron night. They made sure that didn't happen. Phoenix Suns are moving on.
Tim, what happened to the Lakers? Because this feels like something deeper than just an Anthony Davis problem.
For me, this was symptomatic of their entire season. This was a 72-game season that, to me, looked like an extension of a preseason. Normally, they just didn't really put any value in it. There was no sense of urgency in it. They had a lot of injuries, and the time that LeBron and AD missed collectively meant that they were going to try to do this thing on the fly at the end of the year. It just doesn't work that way in the Western Conference. These teams are too good. I think a lot of people probably felt like Utah and Phoenix, those were aberrations at the top of the West. I think what those teams are showing you now is what you watched all year was real. And these teams legitimately belong in those spots the way they have handled their business here in the first round. But for me, this was just a Lakers mentality that carried from a postseason championship into a regular season that they didn't value, and then injuries caught up to them, and it was too late to flick that switch against a team that found confidence very early in this series against the Lakers, and they knew they could be had.
But Brooklyn's doing it on the fly. Is that just because they're that much better?
Yeah, they are. They've got three guys that are three of the best offensive players this league has ever seen, and they can beat you on every dimension. They can beat you as ISO three-point shooters, ISO breakdown to the rim. They're all